Hi, this is Ivy, me, and this is my podcast. I don't even know if it's gonna be like a real podcast or not because I don't know, girl. Like, what do I have to talk about for this long? However, I really like music, and I really like my opinions on music, and I think that like music is a very secret and integral thing to my personality, and I also have a lot of homework to get done just on a regular daily basis. So I thought, why not combine these two things and make a podcast where I do my homework and then talk about music and music reviews, and do my college apps and then talk about music and music reviews because I cannot sit there and do one thing at a time. I like literally have to be multitasking, and I just think that I can rant for a really long time. Like I've already been ranting for a minute, and I'm barely done with everything I want to say. Just to like clarify some things about this podcast, it's mine, not yours, and it's not even a real podcast. This is literally just me on a like a thing on my bed, like doing my homework on my laptop. You know what I mean? Like, this is not gonna have production quality. It's not gonna have budget. It's not gonna have value. It's me sitting on my bed as a 17-year-old high school girl, recording just random stuff that I find fun and interesting. So if you don't like that, then I don't know, you suck butt or something. Today, what I wanted to talk about my podcast, because it's mine and not yours, is Brat and Brat's marketing. Today I was in class. I wasn't even in class. I was like having like a meeting. I don't know. I was having a meeting. Do you guys want to see like the homework that I'm doing? I feel like that's like kind of illegal. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I shouldn't be showing you guys my homework, so I won't do it for the first episode. But let me know if you want me to do it for like the second episode. If I ever continue this or if this ever gets posted, because that might not even happen. Also, I don't shut up. I just kind of talk really fast. So if you like that type of pace of people talking, then I talk a lot. Okay, so basically, oh my God, bro, they closed all my tabs. I have 50 tabs open right now because I'm applying to college. So when you're applying to college, normally you have 85 tabs. Oh, never mind. They didn't close my tabs. I'm lying. Okay, so all my tabs are safe. So today I want to talk about Brat and Brat's marketing and the marketing team behind Brat because I just think that that marketing campaign has been and um, and was one of the best marketing campaigns that I've seen within the 21st century. Like, for as long as I've been alive, which has only been 17 short years, I just think that that marketing was so beautiful and so unique. And we haven't had marketing like that in like this era of like a nonchalant artist. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, artists want to be nonchalant dreadheads, and I don't like that. Like, baby, you're not a nonchalant dreadhead. Like, Beyonce can drop Lemonade on a random odd day and just be like, yeah, this is my new album, like Lemonade, and that's fine. But like, when like you, a random artist who has like 2 followers on Instagram, want to do it, no, you need to have promotion. You need to have that backing. You need to have some type of history or knowledge about music management and media management and how to promote yourself as an artist. And like, you can't do that. You know what I mean? And today I was in class and I was talking to one of my friends and I was kind of telling her how like I think that Brat's marketing was so beautiful because of Charlie XCX's participation within the Brat campaign. I mean the Barbie campaign. And I don't think that like Charlie XCX was sitting there like in board meetings with the people doing marketing for the Barbie movie. However, I do think that she saw that movie and that was something she was a part of, and she was like, "Hey, hey, you know what I mean? Like, you're kind of cooking. You have some good ideas." And I think that she definitely took um a big chunk of inspiration from this. However, I do watch a lot of music interviews and I've been watching a lot of ones about Charlie XX recently. And there's just like a lot of videos where she talks about how like Brad is a creative project for her. Charlie kind of does this every few projects where like she will dedicate this project to herself and her fans and the angels and people who actually fuck with her work and listen to her. You know what I mean? As a Charlie XX fan who does have How I'm Feeling Now on vinyl, I don't know where it is right now. What the hell is this vinyl that I never opened? Oh, Mom Jeans. Best buds. Great album, great record. Should I do like an album of the day? I'd assume that it'd be the record I'm talking about right now, but no, it's actually Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Go listen to that record if you haven't. Oh, this is 2 albums that I haven't opened. Be the Cowboy by Mitski, also a great record. And this one, Best Buds by Mom Jeans, great records. I'm gonna put these back now because I didn't mean to take them out in the first place. I didn't even take them out to sleep. I need to listen to more vinyl recently. I cleared off my dresser and like my thing so I could be on my vinyl and player and whatever. I don't know, but I can do it now, so that's kind of cool. But back to the thing I was saying, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers is the album of the day. I would say that Mirrors is kind of like a mirror, not mirrors. This is not Justin Timberlake. It's kind of the song that I've been listening to the most recently. By the most recently, I mean I posted on my Instagram story about 45 minutes ago, so I think that qualifies as being recent, and I listened to it. But that song is fire. Also, what's his name? Tana Leon, I think. I'm trying to look because I have a poster of it back there. I don't know if it has the features. I don't think it does. But that song is great. Actually, I have a whole laptop here. Why don't I just pull that up for you right now? Also, I need to try to check what percent my phone is on, but I don't know. They have a new widgets feature on the MacBook. Also, if you watch my podcast, you will learn that I don't actually stay on topic, and I'm lying about pretty much everything I say because yeah, I don't like to pay attention. I really am bad with that type of stuff. But Brat. So Brat is the what sixth studio album by Charlie XCX, and I'm filming this on October 17th, 2024. It's about to be October 18th, actually, in a few minutes. But this album dropped June 6th, 2024, and it's had one of the greatest album runs of an album that I've seen this past decade. I think that it's fire. Well, I wasn't really alive and like aware of music in the music industry for the past decade. However, I just think that this album has marketed itself in a way that has connected with young audiences, old audiences. It has hit every target box and more. And people who didn't really listen to Charlie X6 are now listening to her. And the artist that I'll get into all of this later in the video, but just to kind of like do a brief summary, Charlie XCX released his album called Brat in June of 2024 this year. Let me just make sure June 6th is the right day. I think June 7th. Sorry, I was a day off. But she released this album, and the record has to do with many different thoughts about like people in the music industry, her thoughts in the music industry, her thoughts about her life and where her career is heading, and her goals, and kind of what she wants to do with her life. She has songs dedicated to her friends, her postmortem friend Sophie, who is also an incredible artist and DJ. I believe she was a DJ. Um, but the record is beautiful. It's beautifully pieced together, and I love this album. I've been listening to it. It's at least one song has been on my Spotify, like or not my Spotify, my earbuds every single week. And Charlie's been up there a lot, and I've just been listening to her a lot. I'm how I'm feeling now, fall girl. So right now, how I'm feeling now, like I'm listening to Claus and Forever and like all that stuff. But like Brat Summer was such an experience, and as somebody who like is still a teenager, you know what I mean? Like I'm not really going out and like clubbing and partying. Brat Summer was such like a fun thing to witness and experience, and I wish that I was a little bit older for it. However, I just think that it was really cool. I just couldn't really participate in it. I think that that concept was cool, marketing it as a Brat Summer, this kind of garish green that she picked, and I love it. She said in the I think the Zane Lowe interview she did for Apple Music, that she kind of picked like the worst green color, like the most disturbing green color. And I was talking to my friend who doesn't really listen to hyperpop or doesn't really listen to Charlie XCX as a musician, and she was kind of saying like I hate this color, and I was like good, like that's the point. Like she wanted you to hate this color, and she didn't really want it to be appealing or appeasing, to the normal eye. Okay, I have 4%, so I think I can go on with the rest of my rant. Yeah, what was I saying, Brat? I think it's a beautifully curated album for all the songs on there and the way that she formed it. And I think that you can tell that this girl is a musician. You know what I mean? This is the last. I think so. Basically, at the end of her record deal was Crash. Crash was the last album for her original record deal that she had had since she was like 14 with Atlantic Records. If I'm recalling this correctly, and Brat was the first kind of album that was off of that, and Crash was made to be like a Radiohead favorite, and it was her best charting album of all time. It got to number one in I think Finland, and then kind of did top 10 numbers for um US, UK, and some other countries and stuff. But that album, in my opinion, was not her best, and I didn't really like it that much. but I do love this album, and I love this song, and I think that Brat perfectly encapsulated exactly what she wanted to encapsulate, this kind of like teenage dirtbag aesthetic that I think that people now are searching for so much and young people now want. And Charlie kind of grew up in that. Like she grew up in London. She was like a freaky artistic kid who was like 14 performing in like these factory raves and London. Inside this icon is just a young girl from Essex. That's really so true because like she is just a young girl from Essex. You know what I mean? Like that's inside of her spirit. But I just think that like she with this album was able to get so much done and so much out of it without having to overly dedicate it to one specific topic. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't say this is an album about feminism, or I wouldn't say this is an album about like her career or about X, Y, and Z. And I think that she kind of tied in everything so perfectly. There's some records that I listen to and I'm like, okay, there's a very clear theme to this album, or there's a very clear theme to a lot of the songs on this record. But I think that each song on Brat kind of has its own world that it exists in, and I think that they're great. As a collective, and they're great individually. And I think that the themes of, she talks about wanting to start a family, she talks about grief, she talks about partying, she talks about drugs, and all this cool stuff that is a big part of this aesthetic that she's going for and reaching for. Are, I don't even know what I was saying, are just handled very carefully. But back to the marketing aspect of these things. Sorry, I'm really cold. I think that Brat was beautifully marketed. I think that it had some great press releases. I had the pleasure of speaking to somebody who worked on her team. I'm blanking on his name. His initials are AZ, but I can't remember the specifics. I think his name is Andrew, who worked on her team, and just kind of like listening to him speak. This was when Von Dutch was about to come out. I think it was in like February ish. Um, just hearing the things that he had planned for it, and like he knew, you could tell that he knew the extent of what this release was about to have. And obviously when you have an album as an artist, you don't want the artist to flop, like you don't want it to tank. That's not like a point of you making the album. But when you're going for something that's like, I purposely want to make something to upset people, or like to be displeasing to people, and to only appeal to like my core audience and fan base, like to have such insane hyper specific, like low, I'm in macroeconomics right now. That's a class I'm taking in high school. And we learn about like the supply and demand chain, how like when there's a higher demand for something and the supply is lower, that, or when the supply is low, that can sometimes make a high demand for something because people want it, like it's exclusive. And we're learning about like the ivory trade in China and Africa and stuff like that, and how like so many people want it because of how rare and delicate and fancy and expensive it is to own and to source. And I think that that's the same thing with this album. Like Charlie wasn't aiming to make this worldwide global album that was super famous, but she did just that. And a lot of the songs she talks about um, wanting to aspire to be more than she is in her career, being more as a musician, to be recognized, to be, a big name in the pop industry. And I think that she's definitely accomplished that, and she's made a big name for herself. Also, one thing that really pisses me off is her name is Charlie XCX, but the XCX is lowercase. If it was Charlie uppercase X, uppercase C, uppercase X, I would like her a lot more, but whatever. But she's number 82 in the world right now on Spotify. And she's been climbing this like chart. I think that she was in the hundreds like maybe a few months ago or something like that. But the fact that she's gotten up there is crazy. And she has 4 million followers, 40 million monthly listeners. I'm gonna see how some of the numbers on Spotify are for her previous releases. Hello, I'm just trying to look at How I'm Feeling Now mostly, because that's one of my favorite pieces of work. I know Crash came out after How I'm Feeling Now, but like I will forever be a How I'm Feeling Now girl. Hope you didn't hear that. Crash. This is going in like the millions and millions and millions of streams and listeners. And How I'm Feeling Now is kind of still in that same realm. And obviously Charlie did a lot better, and all these other records. I don't know. I might edit this part out, but yeah, I just think that she was able to make this album that wasn't for the average listener and still made it be for the average listener. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to be caught up with the Charlie XCX lore. You don't need to know every little thing about her and about her life and about her music and who she's married to, and or who her fiance is, and everything like that, where she came from, to know the lore of this album. Like, it is so digestible. Like, I don't know how to explain this. It's digestible in the sense that it's relatable, not in the fact that this is a digestible album for the regular consumer to listen to, because that wasn't her goal in making this album. Um, but like, if I was just a regular person who listened to like, top 50 hits every day on the radio, like, I'm not listening to Brat, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not Brat. But I think that when you go into this album and you look at it for more than just being like a hyper pop record or a club record, or whatever the case may be, you can see how much attention to detail and like love and artistry was put into it, and you can listen to the lyrics and relate to them. Like there's just some things that like I was listening to, I think about it all the time the other day. I think about it all the time that I might run out of time. I have no interest in having a kid. That song made me want a baby. Like not even that it made me want a baby, but like I just could relate to those feelings of like I want something and I feel like I'm running out of time to get it. Like I don't have the time to get the things that I once thought that I could, and I'm running out of this time. And just kind of that feeling, like that feeling is so human, so human. And you don't need to be in love with Charlie to get that or to understand that. You don't need to know the characters in her life, the producers, the DJs, the boiler room sets, the marketing. You don't need to know that to be able to get Brat and to understand it. I don't know. I just beautiful, beautiful record. I'm gonna try to get a timeline of the Brat release, but I'm gonna pause it because I think my phone's gonna die again.